Hi there, Dr. Ampoma.
Good morning. I thought you were going to be there in person.
Y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Very good.
Happy Wednesday to everybody.
Likewise.
We can get our meeting started. Sheila, there's a ton of feedback. Attorneys, if you could turn your computers off. You have sound. I don't know. Well, you're not on.
Okay, I'm turning down the volume of all the mics. See if that helps.
Okay. No, there's still one more. Mr. Felderword. It is. Speaker's mute. Let's see. Nope. It's always that phantom speaker. No, it's. Let's test. There we go. Okay. Great. So this is the October 2024 Oil Conservation Commission hearing. So we want to bring it in order and start our hearing. So it is past 9 o'clock. I am Gerasimos Rosados. I am the commission chair. Our two other commissioners are online today. We have Dr. Ampoma and Greg Bloom who are online. Greg and Dr. Ampoma, can you guys hear us?
You sound good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Dr. Ampoma?
Yes, I can hear you too.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. So we want to start off our meeting by doing our roll call. As I said, I'm Gerasimos Rosados. I am the Oil Conservation Commission chair, and I'll pass it over to you, Greg.
Hi there, Greg Bloom. I'm the designee of the Commissioner of Public Lands. Thank you.
And I'm Dr. William Ampoma, designee of the Energy Secretary.
Excellent. So we are full.
Agenda?
Pardon? Yeah. Yeah. So our next item is the approval of our agenda for today, for the October 2009, 2024 meetings. So can we get a motion to approve it?
I so move.
Okay,
I second.
excellent. So we need a roll call for this one, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair, every time.
You're not on. There you go.
Yes, when one or more members of the public body are appearing virtually, a roll call is appropriate.
Excellent. So Commissioner Bloom.
Approve.
Okay. Commissioner Ampoma.
Approved.
Excellent. I approve as well. So our meeting agenda is approved. Now we'll move on to our next, which is the approval of the September 23rd, 2024 meeting minutes. Can I get a motion to approve it?
I so move.
Excellent.
I second.
Excellent. We also need to do a roll call for this one. So even though we just heard you both, I'm going to ask you again. I'll do it backwards this time. Dr. Ampoma.
Approved.
Excellent. Greg? Commissioner Bloom.
Approve.
Thank you. And I approve it as well. So our meeting notes are approved. We'll move on to our pending cases. Our first case is case number 24813, application of Avant Operating LLC for compulsory pooling in Lee County, New Mexico. This was set as a status conference, and I do believe that there's also a motion for dismissal for this one. Have I understood it correctly?
Good morning, Mr.
Good morning.
Chair, members of the commission, Michael Felderwart, Santa Fe Office of Holland and Hart on behalf of Permian Resources Operating. We did file a notice of dismissal
Okay.
of the de novo appeal.
Excellent. Thank you. Are all parties present for this particular case?
Good morning, everyone. Dina Bennett on behalf of Avant Operating LLC.
Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Bennett.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Felderwood, I'll start it with you since you put in the motion for dismissal. Is there anything, it was just real quick, so I didn't know if you wanted to add anything else or it's just a quick motion for dismissal.
No, it's just a notice of dismissal of the de novo appeal. So the case now can proceed under the existing division pooling order.
Okay, excellent. How does Avant feel about that?
Avant is happy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, Ms. Bennett, were there any other parties to the de novo appeal other than Mr. Feldwert's clients?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. So we'll set this one to be, the appeal to be dismissed, correct?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, we will enter an order dismissing the de novo appeal, and then it will be whatever the division did will then take precedent.
Okay, excellent.
Thank
Well,
you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. That was easy for this particular case. We'll move, do we need to do anything with the commissioners, with Commissioner Bloom and Commissioner Mpoma? Or
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It is a matter of, I think it's rather perfunctory, but if we could have a motion to approve the dismissal by the protestant.
I so move.
I second.
excellent.
And roll call?
Roll call. We'll start off, Dr. Mpoma.
Approved.
Excellent. Commissioner Bloom?
Approve.
And I approve as well. So this one is set. Thank you all for this particular one. Our next case is case number 24814, application of Avant Natural Resources LLC for a horizontal spacing unit and compulsory pooling in Lee County, New Mexico. And this one was also set as a status conference. And we also got a notice of dismissal for this. Are all the parties present for this?
Yes,
Particular
Mr. Chair,
case?
members of the commission, Michael Felderwart with Holland and Hart on behalf of Permian Resources Operating.
Okay.
Good morning,
Good-
everyone. Oh, great.
Oh, sorry.
Sophia.
Good morning, Sophia Graham with Beatty and Wozniak, representing Avant Operating.
Thank you, Ms. Graham.
Thank you. I am not in this case.
You're
for
not
Avant,
in this
but just in case Beatty and Wozniak wasn't here, I was prepared to
Okay.
step into the breach, but they're here.
Excellent. Okay. So again, I'll start it off with you, Mr. Felderwart, since you put in the application for dismissal.
Yes, as with the prior case, the parties reached an agreement. So our client, Permian Resources, who filed the de novo appeal, has filed a notice of dismissal of the de novo appeal. So the matter can now proceed under the pooling order issued by the division.
Okay. Just to make sure, can you hear Mr. Felderwart?
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Mpoma and Commissioner Bloom, can you hear Mr. Felderwart?
Yes.
Okay. It was just that you're further away from the microphone. I'm just making sure. So,
Okay.
Excellent. Ms. Graham, any opposition to this dismissal?
No,
Excellent. And then as Mr. Rubin asked last time, are there any other parties that may be part of this or may have any what would be
Any appearance? Yes.
appearance that you all know of? Mr. Felderwart,
No, sir.
Ms. Graham?
no, sir.
Okay. So
Okay.
we'll put this one up for a motion to accept this dismissal.
I so move.
Excellent. Thank you.
I second.
Great. And then we'll do the roll call. I'll start it off this time. I, as Commission Chair, approve. Commissioner Bloom,
Approve.
Commissioner Mpoma.
Approved.
Okay. I love these quick hearings. This is awesome. Great. Thank you. We'll move on to our next case, which is case number 24816, application of Avant Operating LLC for approval of a non-standard unit and compulsory pooling in Lee County, New Mexico. This one is also as a status conference. Are the parties for this particular case here?
Good morning, everyone. Dina Bennett on behalf of Avant Operating LLC.
Thank you, Ms. Bennett.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, Michael Felderwart on behalf of PBEX LLC and EGL Resources. Those are the entities that filed the de novo appeal.
Okay.
Good morning, Dana Hardy with Hinkle Shaner on behalf of COG Operating and Concho Oil and Gas.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Anybody online? Or is this all that we know of?
This is all that I know of.
Okay, excellent. So Ms. Bennett, let's start with you.
Thank you very much. The, I did want to give a bit of a background before we get started. The case number, the de novo appeal that's pending before the commission right now in case number 24816 was heard by the division in May 2024. And the application that Avant filed was under case number 24118. And that was filed on December 5th, 2023. So this case has been pending before the division for quite some time. There's a companion case, which is case number 24119. That case was filed at the same time by Avant, by myself on Avant's behalf. That was also filed on December 5th. And it involves the same acreage, but the Wolf Camp formation. Case 24118 involves the Bone Spring formation. And the order was delayed a bit in case 24119. That order was issued in September 2024. And PBEX and EGL have also filed a de novo application for that case. And that is Oil Conservation Commission case number 24878. And it was not, due to notice issues, it was not able to be noticed for today's status conference. But that case should be, is very similar to the case we're talking about today. They both concern the same acreage. One is just seeking to pool an order pooling the Bone Spring, and one is an order pooling the Wolf Camp. And as I mentioned, both of those cases have been around the division for quite some time, since December 5th, 2023. PBEX and EGL entered an appearance and objected to the cases proceeding by affidavit. And then they withdrew their objections to the cases proceeding by affidavit. And the cases were heard on May 28th, 2024. And as I mentioned, the Bone Spring order was issued on July 31st, 2024. And the Wolf Camp order was issued on September 11th, 2024.
Ms. Bennett, would it be appropriate to move to consolidate the cases?
Yes, it would. I would like for the cases to be consolidated. I had hoped that that would be something that we could have maybe done logistically before today, but I would like for the cases to be consolidated.
Okay. Do you anticipate filing, if you could file a formal motion and get the approval of the parties on that point, that'd be great.
Thank you. I'll do that. Although there might be some intervening circumstances that will involve the cases being consolidated as a matter of course anyway, but I will definitely do that. So as of now, or until this morning, until I had a chance to speak with Mr. Feldewert, Avant was, given the length of time that these cases have been pending, Avant was very hopeful that we would be able to have a contested hearing on these cases as soon as possible. And that would have meant on the December 12th is the next commission docket. Avant unfortunately isn't available that day, but I did check with them for dates around December for a contested hearing. So that's their strong preference given the amount of time that the cases have been pending, is to have a contested hearing as soon as possible. And speaking with Mr. Feldewert this morning, I understand that EGL has refiled competing applications. They had competing applications below, which they dismissed. And in speaking to Mr. Feldewert this morning, I understand that EGL has now filed competing applications with the division. And I'll of course let Mr. Feldewert speak to this in more detail. It's my understanding that EGL is going, or PBEX is going to ask the commission to stay the Avant cases pending the division's determination on the pending PBEX EGL cases. And in Avant's opinion, that's not necessary here. The PBEX EGL cases can be consolidated with the Avant cases for a December contested hearing. There's plenty of time to do that, plenty of time to notice the parties for a contested hearing in December, and that would be the most efficient and the would conserve both the commission's time, the division's time, and the party's time. And so, and I'm happy to, I'd like to reserve some time to address Mr. Felderwert's argument, which I know he's going to make. But that's a brief introduction, and then I'd like to reserve some time to just rebut some of the things I anticipate he might say.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. We'll go to you, Mr. Felderwert.
Sure. So clearly there's a couple things going on. One, we have a related de novo appeal in the December 12th docket. The second thing is my client thought they had an agreement with Avant, which apparently has fallen through, which has resulted in the refiling of competing pooling cases involving the same acreage at the division level, which will be on their December 31st. I'm sorry, October 31st docket.
Let's
It'll
go.
be on our
Wow.
October 31st docket. Yeah. So my suggestion would be that we should probably have a status conference on December 12th for purposes of allowing the parties to see if they can actually finalize the resolution that they thought they had, number one. And number two, if not, then we'll know then when there is a division hearing on the competing pooling cases. I can tell you that the division has previously indicated a preference as late as when Ms. Sandoval was here to have all the matters before the division resolved before the commission takes up the matter. If you'd like, I have up on my screen order R21454, if I may share.
Sure.
I know Ms. Bennett is familiar with this order because she has cited it on various occasions. Share. I believe you can hopefully see it now.
No,
No.
I see all you nice people on the screen.
Well, my shared capabilities don't seem to be allowing me to bring it onto the screen. So I would direct you, since I can't bring it up, I apologize. I would direct you to that order and you can look at it between now and December 12th. But you'll see in that case, it had a similar procedural posture where there was Mewborn and Apache had appealed pooling orders that had been issued on behalf of Ascent. Okay. And during that de novo appeal, Mewborn had filed some competing pooling applications. And the division stated that it is in the best interest of the public and the parties that all of the related applications be heard in conjunction with one another or to be entirely consolidated for purposes of hearing. And given that these potentially competing applications are not all ripe for review by the commission at this time, it is not currently appropriate for the various applications to be immediately transferred to the commission for hearing. They went on to say that potentially competing applications, including those that have yet to be filed, should be heard by the division prior to the commission hearing the applications currently before the commission. So that's been the practice. You can take a look at that order and we can revisit that on.
Can you give me the number one more time, please?
It is R21454.
What, R21454?
Correct.
Awesome. Thank you.
Correct. So that's been the commission's preference. And that can certainly be followed here. But in any event, we know we need to at least move this to December 12th so that we have both cases on the same docket. And then having looked at that order, you can make a decision as to how you want to proceed.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
No.
Mr. Felder? Okay, Ms. Hardy.
COG and Concho are interest owners in these units and are monitoring the cases. So I don't have a position on this current dispute.
Just sitting and watching for this one.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. Any questions from the co-commissioners?
No questions at this time.
Dr. Mpoma?
Yeah, no questions at this time.
Okay,
Mr. Chair, may I briefly
please,
respond
Ms.
to?
Bennett. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I am quite familiar with the order that Mr. Felderwart cited. I represented Apache in that case that resulted in that order. And one very crucial distinction, though, is that at the time that the commission issued the order, Apache had not yet filed its competing applications. So there were no Mewborn had filed its competing applications, and I point to Ms. Hardy because she was also involved in that case. But Mewborn had filed its competing applications, but Apache had not yet. Here, however, there are only 2 sets of competing applications, and those PBX and EGL applications have already been filed. There's no reason to wait any further to combine these cases and have them heard before the commission in December. The rationale underlying the order in that case, it is still valid. It's a valid rationale that it does promote public interest, conservation of or prevention of waste and protection of correlative rights to have cases heard together. And that's what Avant is asking for, is that the commission not hold off on hearing cases that have been pending since 2023, and rather set them for a contested hearing before the commission as expeditiously as possible.
Go ahead, Mr. Rubin.
Just to advise the chair and the commission, you certainly have the discretion to, as chair and as division director, to have the commission hear what is currently before the division. I think you should be guided by, as the parties have pointed out, consistency with past decisions, the efficiency of and the administrative efficiency and economy of having this all heard in December. Certainly with consistency. There was some quote about consistency in Hobgoblins by Ralph Waldo Emerson. So consistency perhaps is not the most important thing here, but rather the efficiency and the the administrative economy. Mr. Feldemore, do you have concerns about the parties being able to hear the consolidated matters in December?
I don't know what the schedule is with the witnesses. And I have not visited with them about that. And I hear what you're saying, but take a look at that order. It's exactly what we got here. And they wanted all the matters heard before the division, before they brought them up on de novo appeal to the commission. Yeah.
So I do have one question, and I think it's because I maybe just haven't understood it myself. So we're not wanting to hear it on December the 12th. We want to hear it, but sometime in December, correct?
That's correct. I did check with Avant, and unfortunately they have witness unavailability on the 12th, but they are available on the 19th.
Yeah, that's going to pose the problem. My schedule is wonky through the end of the year. So I'm on a business trip right before, and then I'm on vacation right after through the holidays. So it would have to be the 12th, or we really, there are no other dates for me, at least, to be able to be on it. So we would be moving into January. And I know that the point is that we don't necessarily want it to linger, but it would be the fastest and most expeditious way to throw it into January.
Thank you. And I definitely understand the scheduling constraints. And I did check with Avant on the January commission date. And I believe they're available for the January commission date, because I did understand that there could be some scheduling constraints in December. I would need to double check that with them. But I had raised that as a fallback position, and that would be their preference, rather than staying these cases before the commission while an entirely separate proceeding moves forward before the division. So January would be their strong preference.
But I also don't want to negate this 21454.
Yes.
So what I would probably consider, Sheila, on the November docket, we were going to start off with the hearing, correct? Before we did the rule making?
All that's on the November docket is the rulemaking hearing
Okay.
for 4 days.
It's going to be, yeah, given the rulemaking and the public comment, et cetera, that appears, it might be tough. You know, it sounds like what might make the most sense is we know there's another case on December 12th. And so it seems to me that you might want to address how you want to proceed with these cases on December 12th, whether you want to follow the order format that or the format that laid out in the order I cited, or, you know, whether you want to proceed on a different route. It seems to me that December would be the time to address that.
And Mr. Chair, if I could just briefly respond. The November rulemaking is kind of putting a hitch in our giddy up here.
For everybody.
Yes, because but for the November 12th hearing, the Avant appeal, the de novo appeal of 24119 would be more likely than not set for a status conference in November. So, and I definitely understand the constraints that rulemaking is putting on us, but it is adding an additional month of delay through no one. I'm definitely not pointing fingers here, just pointing out the reality that that hearing is causing additional delay in us potentially moving these cases forward. And I think that, you know, order 21454,
24154.
that's what I said, 24154 is
Wait, is it is this R?
R2415.
The
Yes.
numbers are the numbers are going all over the place
Yeah.
because I got R21454.
sorry,
and we're-
R21454.
Okay, R21454. 21,454.
Did I misspeak? Yes.
Well, right now you both have said two different going back and forth,
Hold
so
on,
I'm
I
just
got it.
making sure.
I got it up in front of me. 21454.
Okay, so 21,454.
You got it.
Yeah. And Mr. Felderwert has identified that as, you know, the commission's preference. And that order was issued under a specific set of circumstances. And as I mentioned earlier today, the circumstances are different here.
Mr. Chair, Mr.
Yes.
Rubin, if I may.
Commissioner Bloom.
Yes, is there the potential for the chair to determine this between now and the November meeting when we might hear?
Well, that's where I was kind of
this
going
is-
with it. That's where I was wanting to kind of go with it. I do want to review 21454. I think it would behoove the other two commissioners to also review it as well. They were probably here, but you know, refreshing the memory for everybody. And what I was thinking is that at the very least, we could do a quick status conference right before we start the rulemaking, just to either make that final decision of how we're going to go, and if we decide, then to set it for, you know, trial, for hearing. So that is what I was thinking. Mr. Rubin, are you okay with that?
Oh, yes, that's fine, Mr.
Okay.
Chair, members of the commission. We don't have someone here from the division who might have had a position on this too.
Correct. There's a lot with looking at 21454. And Commissioner Bloom and Commissioner Mpoma, do you have any concerns or questions with what I just proposed?
Mr. Chair, I can't remember if this is one of these circumstances, and Mr. Rubin might know, where we could vote to give you the authority to determine this matter for the commission. Between now and November, it might move things along a little more quickly. I'd be fine with that. Otherwise, sure, a brief status hearing at the beginning of our November hearings.
Commissioner Bloom. Oh,
Go ahead, Commissioner Mpoma.
Yeah, so from my point of view, so you have one party saying this is similar to 21454, the other party saying it's not the same. So I really want to hear from both sides how they are the same, because if you have some pending cases in the division, that is going to impact whatever outcome from let's say, from the existing case. It makes sense to fully understand the impact and then make a decision whether you consolidate them or more or less you just proceed as it is. So I really want to hear more, probably on the November hearing, to fully understand how these cases are interconnected with each other to help us make a very good decision. Whilst we review the 21454.
And that's why I was saying that maybe the three of us, get a copy of 21454. We review it, and then we can ask the pertinent questions at the beginning of the hearing in November, and set this one as a status conference for November, and then we go from there. I mean, if the two of you are amicable to this, then I think it would be the most logical is the word I was looking for. I need more coffee. The more logical path for the commission, if you agree, commissioners.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, I'll be fine with that too. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rubin, do you see any problem with that?
No, Mr. Chair, that's fine. You certainly have the discretion in the interim.
Okay.
As division director as well.
So if all the parties are okay with this, I would like to set this one for a status hearing in November before we start our rulemaking. I will review, and the other two commissioners will review 21454 because it may set a precedent. We'd like to see it on our end. And then, of course, the commissioners can also ask the questions that they have for all three parties at that point. Ms. Hardy, even though you're watching, you're still a party here. So if that's good with everybody, I think that would be the best. Okay.
Yeah, let me just to help you out, because I just had to unravel all this. There's 21454, and then there's also 21454A, which was a motion to reconsider 21454, which the commission denied. So you'll see, so there's both of them are related. And like I said, I think what you'll find is that Apache and Mewborn had appealed pooling orders that were issued on behalf of Ascent Energy. Okay. And during that time, Mewborn had filed competing applications with the division. That was the starting point for their decision making.
Okay. And just so I get it straight, Mr. Felderworth.
Yeah.
21,454 and then 21,454A.
You got it.
Okay. I know that's not the way we do it, but I wanted to make sure we had the numbers right. Okay. Excellent. Do we need to have a motion for this?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, no, not at this time.
Okay. Excellent. So this one's set for another status conference for the November case.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Our next case is case number 24683, the application of Western Environmental Law Center Citizens Caring for the Future, Conservation Voters of New Mexico Education Fund, the Dene Care Earthworks, NAIVA, New Mexico Interfaith Power and Light, San Juan Citizens Alliance, and Sierra Club to amend rules 19.15.2, 19.15.5, 19.15.8, 19.15.9, and 19.15.25 in the NMAC. Are the parties present for this?
I can start. Michael Felderworth with Holland and Hart on behalf of Oxy USA Inc.
Thank you, Mr. Felderworth.
Christy Trevino for the Oral Conservation Vision.
Excellent. Anybody else?
Good morning, Jackie McLean on behalf of IPA&M.
Thank you, Ms. McLean. Anybody else?
Do we have someone from the applicant?
Yeah, do we have someone from WELC? Anybody? Okay, well, we'll just go with what we have here. We'll start. I like to just start from my left and move my way forward. So Ms. Trevino.
If I could have one moment,
Oh, okay.
I apologize.
That's okay. Would you like me to move on to the next person?
This might help, and perhaps explains why there's no one here from the applicant. I think the only matter here is you were going to appoint a hearing officer,
Right.
right?
It is just for hearing appointment of a hearing officer. So. Okay. If Mr. Trevino, are you ready? I know we caught you real quickly, so just making sure.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, excellent. I think it is just for the appointment of the hearing officer. I believe the hearing officer that we should appoint is Miss Felicia Orth for this. Go ahead, Mr. Rubin.
Oh, I would say that, yeah, it is with rulemakings, the commission appoints the hearing officer as opposed to adjudicatory matters where the rules are silent.
Right.
We don't have Miss Orth here unless she's on. Is she online?
She is not on,
Okay.
but we have spoken to Miss Orth. Okay. And she is willing to be the hearing officer for this. So the commission is going to appoint Miss Orth, Felicia Orth, for it.
So may I understand? So I understand the commission will entertain a motion to appoint Ms. Felicia Orth as hearing officer in this matter, case number 24683. Do I have that motion?
I so move.
Second.
We'll go with Commissioner Bloom's move and Commissioner Mpoma's second.
Okay, and can we have a quick roll call?
A roll call. I'm Gerasimus Rosados, Commission Chair. I approve.
Not all at once.
Commissioner Blooms.
I approve.
Commissioner Mpoma.
I approve.
Okay. So Felicia Orth will be our hearing officer for this particular case.
Okay. And members of the commission, I don't believe we need to, and if you wanted to provide her further direction, you could, but I don't think that she would need it as she is seasoned in these matters and she will probably get with the parties and come up with a scheduling order on her own.
Exactly.
Okay.
We're good with this one. Excellent. So that's all of the cases that we needed to hear. Our next agenda point is any pending litigation.
Members of the commission, Mr. Chair, nothing new to add at this point.
Okay. Our next point is any other business that we may have. Gotta love these formalities. Okay, no other business. Our next meeting is slated for November the 2nd through the 15th, 2024. It is our rulemaking hearing, but as we said, we'll also have the status conference before that. And if there's nothing else, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.